this week, hey, with, the Jabberong people and, the loss of their sacred trees. And we're seeing, Santos Energy on Gomeroi country being able to frack on their country. And enough is enough now. We're just really at this crucial time where we have to stop all of these projects.
Yeah. Liv, you brought up a really good point, Tish, that Liv as well brought up about what has happened with the removal of sacred sites and damaging land. Liv, I was wondering again if you could talk about like your experience of like educating people on where they can go to make a complaint, like you said, like Dan Andrews, and what are some of the ways or the languages that they can use when they are making a complaint like that to their parliamentary officials?
Yeah, so one of a really effective way to make a change is to directly contact the people who are doing this. So Daniel Andrews, he's meant to be listening to people, listening to democracy, and making sure that our needs are all met, which he is really not doing at the moment. So to call him on the phone and say, I don't like what you're doing, and if you do this again, we're gonna get really mad. I mean, you wouldn't actually say that, but that's the vibe you want, because
that's the energy we're bringing. Yeah,
we are mad about this. We're really mad, and I mean, you should say it in a more professional way. If I had my way, I would just go up and I would yell straight into the phone. I'd cuss them out. Anyway, we're not going to do that. We're professionals. So we can say something a little nicer. We can say, "Hi, Mr. Andrews." This is me on the phone to Mr. Andrews. "Hi, Mr. Andrews. I heard about your removal of a sacred site. I don't think this is appropriate, especially for your highway building needs. We don't need another highway. We need to protect sacred sites, as colonialism has already taken too many of these. Would you like to hear about Rio Tinto?" And then he doesn't pick up because he's getting his phone flooded. So it goes to voicemail. And you can talk to him on voicemail because he should be listening to them all. Let's be real. So, yeah. We want to have a forefront that we are professional and we're calm, even though we're not really, because we're very mad. And yeah, so give them a call, especially about this. You can call politicians, anyone who's involved. So like the transport minister, you can call Dan Andrews, you can call his secretary, you can do all that. But he's the one that we're mad at, especially right now. And you can do this for anything that you're wanting to protest. So if it's for mining, like the Santos, you can call their head office, you can call their PR, you can call them, you can email them if you don't want to call. You could probably even text them at some point. So I strongly recommend that you give them a ring and you tell them what you think.
Love it, Liv. Chloe, as somebody who calls themselves like the quiet activist, is this something that even as a quiet activist that you feel that you have the power to do and to put your voice behind?
Yeah, definitely. And I think being proactive about it and learning about it and going out of your own way to be involved, like things in this or similar things, learning about it, not just what you're presented with in the media. And I mean, from what I have learned, there's a lot more than what is portrayed in the media. So I think, like, yeah, those are really simple things. I mean, my little sister is not a protester, but she will go do things like go visit remote communities and do proactive things like that. And, you know, maybe not everyone is like a protester, an activist that wants to go out and be on the front line, and that's okay. But as I said, doing things, you know, in your personal life like that, like voicing your opinion, just your one opinion, that's totally doable for everyone. And I think being involved with things like this reminds you that it's easy to do, and you can learn, and you can learn what's easy to do for you, and if you're comfortable with doing that, then you should do it. And I don't understand why anyone wouldn't be kind of comfortable with doing those small things in their life. Yeah.
Annika, Hachiku, you are somebody that does protest a lot in Naarm. I've seen it through your social media, and also I think Milk Records as well, who you're aligned with, are very active in the protest scene. What does it mean to you? You've also acknowledged, like, as I am as well, a colonizer of this land, but to show allyship for First Nations people and try to amplify the concerned voices of all of us who are worried about the way that this land and this country is treated.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it's as you said before, like, just really important. Any small step you can take, or if you have a sort of profile, like let's say a social media profile where you can amplify voices to try and make the most use of it, because it's like if you start being like, I think the problem is so many, if people top down tell you it's okay not to care because why should you, it's really easy to become sort of lazy in a way where you're like, what can I do that will actually make a difference? And to go from that society of thinking individualistic, of we're all in here ourselves, to creating like a collective conscience around like issues that affect us all, that it's not just about you as an individual, it's about like the greater thing that you can be part of. And I think obviously I can be a lot better at it, our label can be a lot better at it. I think everyone is like never getting complacent that you're like, oh, I did a post, wow, cool, but actually being when I called Dan Andrews the other day, and I was so ready for a voicemail, and then suddenly a person picked up, and I was like, what do I say now? Like, you're suddenly like, oh my god, it's real. I have to like say something that sticks. And she couldn't have been less interested. She was like, name please, postcode please, what do you want to say? And then that was it. But I think just any little bit counts, and try and make the most of your platforms. And even if you like have friends that are like, oh, I've got 10 social media followers, why should I be posting? Or I've got like not much of a profile at all. It's like, if you can reach those 10 people, then those can reach their 10 people. Or I think also really big is just your inner circle of friends, like the conversations you have every day, like if they're awkward, if they're like maybe a bit uncomfortable because people are like, I don't want to talk about it. It's like, I think you need to be a little bit uncomfortable sometimes to just keep progressing.
Yeah. The land that is being destroyed, sorry if I do pronounce this wrong, and Trish, please put me in my place for doing so. The Jabwarung land that's been torn apart is for the essentially to give people a 2 minutes faster run on the highway. And when you think about the legacy that they're destroying, it's the equivalent of, I guess, for Westerners, of pulling down or burning Notre Dame just to make a good walkway. Trish, one of the questions that I have for you, and feeding off the work that Seed Mob does in strengthening their community's understanding of political movements and ways in which they can act, especially in the Northern Territory, do you see the wave of activism in that way, when you not necessarily like show people, but once people get the experience of doing that for the first time, or seeing that somebody close to them has done it, and learning from that shared experience that it's something that we're all capable of doing? Have you seen the strength of that through your work with Seed Mob?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't obviously speak for the Jabberung people, but in response to everything that's happened, look at the people power. It really, like, look at everyone that's really supported and come behind that. And that conversation has just sparked up more than, I guess, it was like it was the first time that COVID was in my conversation. And so I think it really highlights the importance of grassroots movements. And so that's actually what Seed sort of does, and helps support communities like that, we want to shift the way that the narrative of like what country means to us, because caring for country is important. It's our way of life. It's our languages. It's our songlines. We came from that land. We come from these oceans, and so it's tearing. It really is like tearing a part of us down. And I saw, it must have been on Lydia Thorpe, how she said it was like, everyone loves the Avatar movie and loves how amazing that tree was. And that's exactly what that means to us. It really is like desecrating a piece of us. And so, I think that's the best thing where Seed comes in. We help support those communities. Elevate those voices, use our platforms, like sort of what Annika said. And it was just really helping where we can and making that greatest impact. And I just want to quickly say, like, Chloe raised something really amazing about, like, you may not be on the front lines of protesting or campaigning. And I think that there's sort of different ways of being an activist. And I think people are a little bit too hard on themselves. But there are so many different ways that you can help out. And I think that's really important. And I just really am really proud to be, with all of you here, because it just really shows the solidarity with, allies, and being good allies just by, using your platforms and, passing that mic on. And I think it's just really great.
I really do love the allyship, that I feel like this movement, in particular in the last few years, has definitely really harnessed the energy of allyship in a way that I don't think we've seen in the history of this country. Would anyone else like to kind of chime in and speak on that?
I think that allyship is one of the most important parts of activism, because if you aren't affected by this, then you have the power to change things. Like, if me as a white person didn't do something for the trees, then that wouldn't be good allyship. It just wouldn't make sense, because if Dan Andrews is not going to listen to the traditional people, then he's not going to listen. He should listen to us. He should be listening anyway, but
he's a part of the problem.
Yeah, he's a part of the problem. He's the white man going in and desecrating these sites. And I think you should always use your privilege for good. If you have privilege, acknowledge it and then use it.
Yeah, I agree. And in the kind of in the spirit of that, I also want to point out that everyone is welcome to call Dan Andrews. And if you want a script on how to do so, School Strike for Climate or SS4C on Instagram have the number that you can call, and also the script that you can use, or even play around to make it more unique to yourself. And we'd like to invite everybody to call that number and to reach out and talk about their concerns about this country that we all live and breathe on. Another resource, and a great resource that helped me, especially as last season was my first season in this atmosphere, first time meeting Trish and first time meeting Liv and finding out about the amazing things that their organisations do. You can go to seedmob.org to find out where to donate or what's happening around Australia, as well as School Strike for Climate. If you're in high school and want to feel empowered by people your age and find out what you can do to help out with everything. I'd love to thank so much Tish King for chatting to us and helping us kick off this first episode of the season. Always bringing your fire energy, and I feel like I grow and understand a lot more things and feel a lot more open actually as an activist in ways in which that I can help as an ally and as a colonizer of this land, support First Nations people in being the caretakers of the land in which we all call home. Liv, you always have amazing outfits and bring equally as much fire, giving us hope about the next generation who are supporting the work and the environment that we all live in. Annika with Hachiku, thank you so much for kicking things off as well with your beautiful Dream Me music. And also, if people want to check out your music, you've got an Instagram. They can also go through Milk Records and find out about more things that you are doing coming up into new year, new tour, new everything. Hopefully we're getting more music for you. Thank you so much. And Cloe Terare. I nearly got away with it. So naughty of me. I'm really excited to be chatting to you and also listening to your music. Most of the time you're actually more in that electronic pop scene, but you're going to be doing something different for us this evening, pairing things back with a guitar.
Yes, my boyfriend on guitar over here, Jesse.
And I just wanted to ask you, like, I'm also someone who considers myself like an activist that's more about supporting the people where I can and doing everything like
sorry, we're getting a bit of feedback.
That's okay. Hopefully it's gone.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask you, this is your first time here on Climate Fridays. Like, what has been your experience here and being a part of this conversation? Do you feel more confident as an activist or that you've learnt more?
Yes, and very emotional. I think it brings up a lot of those kind of emotions that I was talking about before with letting the mass population get to me in terms of what I do doesn't matter, but being back and part of this community means a lot to me because it ties me back down to those core beliefs, which I think everyone has. But I think the mass population way of thinking gets to you, and I think it's only growing. And I think every person that can be involved in this type of thing and remind themselves that this is important, even though you've been told it's not, it really is. So yeah, I'm really grateful for being on with you guys today because I feel like I have a much deeper understanding now, and I'm really grateful for that. Yeah.
We're really grateful to have you here for Climate Fridays. I'm going to let you do what you do best and bask in the vocal energy you're about to throw our way.
Thank you. Just want to start by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land and pay my respects to elders past, present and future. This is my song. It's called Easy. Take me down. Is there something you wanna talk about? I will give you my time if you're sure you'll make up your mind. You've been alluding me to the fact of the safety in your arms. Is it real? You've been alluding me to the fact of the safety in your arms. Is it all for me? Isn't it easy? Wanna take it apart? And if it's so good, why are people always so up in arms? Saved by the bell. Is there something that you're running from? I will sever my ties When I dare ask the same from you, though. Never know if you don't take the lead, though. Alluding me to the fact that the safety in your arms. Is it real? You've been alluding me to the fact that the safety in your arms. Is it all for me? Isn't it easy? Wanna take it apart. And if it's so good, why do people look so open now? It's never this easy. Oh, it's just you. Well, so it's good to come clean and tell me the truth, so I know what I meant. Boy, you're a dream. You're messing around in my headspace, but I could get used to this taste. Yeah, I could be your queen, but you never know what I could be. I stay right here where you need me, and when I'm not alone, I'd still be thinking of you. It's never this easy. Wanna take it apart. And if it's so good, why people always so open arms? It's never this easy. Oh, it's just you. Well, so it's good to come clean and tell me the truth, so I know what I meant. Yeah, it's never this easy. Oh, it's just you. Well, so it's good to come clean and tell me the truth, so I know what I meant. Thank you.
Oh my God. That was beautiful. I'm trying not to cry. That was so gorgeous. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, brilliant. Did not expect that on a Friday, but so happy for it. Thank you so much for being a part of this opening episode of season 3 of Climate Fridays. A few things before we go. We've done a few things while we've been away. First of all, Green Music Australia has a website. What? greenmusicaustralia.org.au is where you can find out more about Climate Fridays, find out who is playing, where you can help out, and so much more. Also, shout out to Tish King from Seed Mob, and you can jump on seedmob.org.au. They've got a great petition called Protect Country, where it lets you stand together and protect the country, and all you need to do is sign up. You can also go on School Strike for Climate's Instagram, find out the ways in which you can help out, from the small things like donating to ringing parliamentarians, and even the larger things. So hopefully when we go back to normal in 2021, like protests where we can really direct change. There is heaps of information out there, but there's also heaps of information right here every Friday from 6 to 7. My name's Ketchy, and we are so glad to be back. Thanks for having us, and we'll catch you next week. Bye.